Shrewsbury and captain James Lillywhite. The 1888 Lions squad, then made up of 17 English, 4 Scots and 1 Welshman and a Northern Irishman, took a 46-day boat trip to New Zealand before heading to Australia. The Lions weren't alone on the boat. Also on board were 300 stoats and weasels, who were brought over to eliminate New Zealand's rabbit problem. The first ever Lions captain, Robert Seddon, died of drowning midway through the tour while sculling on a river. Andrew Stoddart, who was another of the cricketers there, took over and was the star of the tour. The next one was the first to get official recognition from the RFU against the newly formed Springboks. Although the Lions won the series and beat the Boks again 5 years later, in the 12 series since in South Africa, they've only won 2. New Zealand has proved an even tougher hunting ground, just the 1 series win for the Lions in 11 attempts, which came in 1971. And then there was that nail-shredding drawn series in 2017, only the second in Lions history. Only once have the Lions clinched a series after losing the first test, 1989, when David Campese's infamous ghost pass was pounced upon by Ian Evans. Before World War II, the Lions had a dark blue strip, which on the 1930 tour forced the All Blacks to play in all white. So in 1950, the iconic red shirts, white shorts and blue and green socks combination was born. It remains the symbol of the greatest alliance of adversaries in all of sport. To borrow the phrase from Jim Telfer, the Lions is Everest.
A very good morning. This is the Early Breakfast. We're on talkSPORT and we're with Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual. You can find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. It's Sam Ellard building up the talkSPORT breakfast at 6 when it's Jamie O'Hara and Neil Warnock from 6 until 10 o'clock. On the way, though, over the next hour on the Early Breakfast show, here's Sam Stevens.
Yeah, good morning, Sam.
Good morning.
It's great to be with you this morning. The Lionesses face a huge semi-final tonight against Italy, live on talkSPORT. We'll look ahead to that game. Hopefully all the Lionesses are fit and raring to play. The British and Irish Lions are back in action this morning. They've got a warm-up game live on talkSPORT 2 against the First Nations and Pacifica 15. We'll explain all about that later on.
What?
Yeah, Brian Mbeumo is in at Old Trafford. We'll talk about his move to Manchester United and whether it represents good value. And, of course, we'll talk about the other transfer rumours as well this morning. And we'll look at the front and back pages of the papers.
This is the Early Sports Breakfast and we're on talkSPORT. So 5:03 Tuesday, July 22nd. Happy Tuesday morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday morning, Sam Stevens.
Happy Tuesday morning to you, Sam.
I've been locked down my laptop, by the way, so I'm going old school today. I'm reading from my phone, which
How
feels.
Have you managed that?
I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like I don't want to bore people with my complicated laptop and how I'm like an old man when it comes to it. But we're going old. I was even tempted to write the whole show down on a piece of paper.
Down. Yeah.
I mean, how old school would that be?
It would be.
Today's game could be. I mean, you'd think the team that are facing the Lions today will look at the game on Saturday and just think we can't be as bad, or not as bad, but almost we can't make it as easy for the Lions today. They're probably going to lose. They know they're going to lose. But they've got to go into the game thinking we've at least got a bit of a football saying, but get one in them early, make it difficult for them, get up in their faces. Yeah,
and what I think we forget about the Lions is, and even though it was a pretty routine win at the weekend, is that for teams facing the Lions, this is like, it's a real badge of honour, not just to say, we'll play the Lions, but in terms of achieving something against them, making a statement, really turning up. So the Lions face that every time they go out there.
Yeah,
and that's what the challenge is of being a Lion.
That's what makes it so exciting and special, right?
You're there, you're there once every few years. It's an opportunity to don the red jersey, but you also don't get that much time together. So there's always that challenge, and I think that's what, as you say, they're likely to win today, you would think.
Yes.
But there's always that thought that they're playing against people who have sort of, got their sort of family pride at stake and all that sort of stuff.
It'd be interesting the team the Lions are picking today is to kind of all these game bases exist, doesn't it? To give the guys that didn't play on Saturday some game time.
Farrell captaining the side.
Yeah, what a comeback that is, right? In the papers today saying he maybe wants to come back to England, have another go with England. I think he's played for England since the 2023 World Cup, so never say never, eh?
Never say never, indeed. But we've enjoyed bringing you the Lions, and we'll have the latest game today on talkSPORT 2. Second test is on Saturday.
And that's on talkSPORT.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good stuff. Sam, back shortly for some front and back pages. Just so briefly, some back page headlines. A lot of the back page is all about the Lionesses and that European Championship semi-final this evening. The headline on the back of the Times, history within their grasp. Lionesses can be the first England football team to reach 3 major finals in a row. England's women won Euro 2022, lost the 2023 World Cup final to Spain, and making a third straight final would be unprecedented. On the back of the eye, ready to roar, Wiegman confirms Lionesses captain Williamson fit to play in the semi-final with Italy this evening. There's a cricket story on the back of the eye as well. England call up Dawson to make test comeback after 8 years. Shoaib Bashir is out injured, and the left arm spinner, now 35, he played the last of his 3 tests in July 2017, but has taken more than 100 wickets in the last 2 county championship seasons for Hampshire. So that 4th test match tomorrow, England-India, Old Trafford, England 2-1 up. The only one change for England is Bashir out injured, so the left-arm spinner Liam Dawson comes in. She's ready to perform. Headline back of The Guardian, Serena Wiegman has said Jess Carter is ready to perform and compete in England's semi-final against Italy tonight, praising the defender's strength of character in the face of racist abuse received during Euro 2025. That's back of The Guardian. What else have we got for back of The Sun? 80 million for Devils to nick him. Nicholas Jackson is open to joining Manchester United, but Chelsea want £80 million. £80 million for Nicholas Jackson. I mean, I know Man United can be at times not the shrewdest in the transfer window, but I don't even think they're going to spend £80 million on Nicholas Jackson. Story about Man United in the papers. Bomb squad cast a shadow as Amram axes them for the US tour. Of course, Marcus Rashford is not there, as are the other 4 players in the so-called bomb squad. What's that? Garnacho, Anthony Sancho and Malacia. Chris Wheeler in the Mail saying Amram knows what he wants, and United's leadership team should commend for backing him in that regard. Leaving them at home may be better for morale, but it could also cost United a fortune by making it abundantly clear they are surplus to requirements. The club have severely compromised their bargaining position on a group of players who are valued at close to £350 million at their peak. Talking of United again, wow, lots of United, no shock there. Back of the Mail, United in for Martinez, the Daily Mail exclusive. Man United have approached Villa for Emi Martinez, a loan deal for Martinez, who earlier this summer rejected a move to Saudi Pro League, has been discussed, but it's unlikely that Villa will sanction such a move. Only a year ago, Villa rewarded Martinez with a contract which runs into 2029, and there will be nothing to gain for them by allowing him to join on a temporary basis. They value their vice captain at around £40 million. Now, to the game tonight, the big one. The Lionesses take on Italy in Euro 2025 semi-final, a bid to reach another final for the Lionesses. Serena Wiegman's side just got past Sweden in the quarterfinals on penalties after coming from 2-0 down in the second half for normal time. Can they do it? Can they reach another final? England-Italy. The game tonight is live on talkSPORT.
The ball for Blackstenius. She's racing into the area. She's clear on goal. It's 2, and are England going to be knocked off their Euros perch tonight?
After the 2-0, we finally started playing a bit better.
Mead is there, and Jimmy! 2-2. Holmberg. It's over. England are in the semi-final. They expected somehow from somewhere. The Lionesses have delivered.
We play to win. It's another exciting tournament so far, and I hope tomorrow is going to be another exciting game. And I have one hope, is that we win it.
That is headed by Girelli, and it's in. Italy have done it. They are heading to the first semi-final since 1997.
I feel like they're going to be a little bit feisty, and maybe we have to match that.
I hope we will be more on the ball, but we have to be tight on the ball and challenge them.
This motto, in Serena we trust, we have to trust her again in the semi-final that she makes the right calls.
So it's been an up and down campaign then, hasn't it, for the Lionesses? Of course, started with defeat in their first game against France. They bounced back pretty well though, didn't they? Thrashing in fact the Netherlands and Wales, and there was that Sweden game on Thursday evening, 2-0 down, playing so badly, got it back to 2-2, and then there was that incredible penalty shootout. Let's then hear, shall we, from the head coach Serena Wiegman. She says the objective is clear for the semi-final.
We play to win, and it also says a lot about the competitiveness in this tournament. Of course, we had a very hard group to get through with lots of quality, so that really challenged us. And of course, the Sweden match challenged us a lot too, and with a lot of emotions too at the end. And so it's another exciting tournament so far, and I hope tomorrow is going to be another exciting game. And I have one hope, is that we win it.
Well, midfielder Georgia Stanway is well and truly aware of the threat that Italy will provide tonight.
I think a few of their threats are the counter. Obviously, they've got a very strong number 9. I think their diversity in terms of they can always change formation. They've got, people that can play in all different positions, people on the inside, people on the outside. So something that we've got to be wary of is maybe the rotations, the movements, having quality in all areas. Obviously their aggression, I feel like they're going to be a little bit feisty, and maybe we have to match that, or maybe we don't have to get into the fight. We'll see how it is tomorrow. But in terms of the actual football wise, I hope that we are able to dominate possession. I hope that we're able to create chances, and our aim is to stop the counter and obviously try and win the ball back as fast as possible.
Well, the good news for the Lionesses is that Serena Wiegman said that Lee Williamson is fit to play this evening. I guess the big news that Wiegman will have to decide on is whether Chloe Kelly, who came off the bench and made such an impact at 2-0 down against Sweden, will start this evening. Let's get the thoughts of talkSPORT co-commentator and ex-Lioness star Tash Dowie. She isn't convinced that Wiegman will make any changes to a starting lineup for the game tonight.
I think the whole of England and whoever's watching the game, and if you're a Chloe Kelly and you've had that kind of impact, you're thinking 100% I'm starting in this semi-final. But it's Serena Wiegman, and I think we all know she's not going to make changes. She doesn't. So I think she'll have the same starting 11. I really believe that, even though I think Chloe Kelly deserves to start. I think maybe Lauren Hemp was running on empty towards the end, and she has been having to manage her minutes. She missed 5 months of the WSL season. Lauren James as well has missed big chunks. But yeah, I think she'll go same starting 11, and I think you'll see the same subs coming on and trying to make that impact, which I guess is frustrating. I look as well at Abiva Jones. I still can't believe she hasn't had more game time the season that she's had at Chelsea, when England are needing a goal, for her to not even be able to get on. But again, Serena seems to always find a way. So again, this motto, in Serena we trust, we have to trust her again in the semi-final that she makes the right calls.
Well, unfortunately, one big talking point ahead of the game has been the abhorrent racist abuse suffered by the defender Jess Carter on social media after the Sweden game. The Lionesses have decided not to take the knee ahead of the semi-final due to its perceived lack of impact. Here's talkSPORT's England correspondent Courtney Sweetman-Kirk on that United stance.
It's hard, isn't it? I think I look at it as a mixed race person myself, and the abuse that we've seen many footballers face. We've seen it just recently with Salford in a pre-season friendly. We've seen it with years gone by with obviously the Lions and missing penalties and the abuse that they found, and even before this when Lauren James got sent off in the World Cup in Australia and the abuse that she made. So I get sort of your viewpoint from that, whereas yes, we need to come together, but that sort of process of taking the knee, I think we need to ask, what is it achieving? What attention are we drawing to it? And if we just keep doing it before a game, it almost becomes the norm. And actually, nothing's changing. This abuse is still happening. So, Mark Bullingham has also, the FA CEO, has released a statement saying he supports Jess and they're going to work with the police. So whether it be the police, obviously the FA, we know we've got things like Kick It Out. But for me as well, the social media companies, there needs to be more done, because it's quite obvious at the moment that taking the knee isn't having the desired effect because this abuse is still happening. Yeah, well said, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, and I'm sure everybody's behind the Lionesses' decision to not do that in these tough times, and of course, most importantly as well, behind Jess Carter, who's just playing a game of football, and nobody in any walk of life deserves any abuse like that. But the game this evening, England-Italy, the Women's Euro 2025 semi-final, is live on talkSPORT, presented by Adrian Durham. Commentary from Joe Shannon and former England striker Tash Dowie. 8 o'clock start
It's live on talkSPORT. Can England, can the Lionesses get to yet another major final? This is the early breakfast. We're on talkSPORT. It is 5:15, building up to the breakfast show this morning with Jamie O'Hara and Neil Warnock. Coming up next, we'll take a deeper dive into what's made the back pages of today's newspapers. Very good morning. This is the early breakfast. We're with Adrian Flux. Get a tailor-made quote for your commercial vehicle. Search Adrian Flux Insurance for the individual. Sam Ellard with you until 6 o'clock this morning. Then it's Jamie O'Hara and Neil Warnock. Make sure you download the talkSPORT app to find all of our stations, including talkSPORT, talkSPORT 2, Times and Virgin. And there you can listen back to our best interviews and podcasts too. Some headlines you're waking up to this Tuesday morning. Former England footballer Paul Gascoigne is back home and doing well after spending the weekend in hospital. His talent agency has confirmed he went to A&E voluntarily on Friday due to a throat condition. Gascoigne said to have struggled with the issue for a while. West Ham have signed defender Kyle Walker-Peters on a free transfer following his departure from Southampton. The 28-year-old fullback's agreed a 3-year contract to the London Stadium. Walker-Peters says the move has been a long time coming, and the Football Governance Act to ensure clubs in England are run sustainably has become law after receiving royal assent. It cleared the Commons with a majority vote earlier this month and aims to give fans a greater say in how the sport's run. It means an independent regulator will be appointed to oversee the sport. Culture's Secretary Lisa Nandy told talkSPORT's Alex Dibble that the aim is to have the regulator up and running by the end of the year.
We know that fans have waited for far too long. My stepdad was a lifelong season ticket holder at Gig Lane, and my own club, Wigan Athletic, we didn't just nearly lose it once, we nearly lost it twice in the 14 years since Parliament first called for a comprehensive overhaul of football. So we're not going to waste a minute. We're cracking on. We're delivering on what we promised fans, which was to put them back at the heart of the game and protect clubs and football as a whole so it can thrive for generations to come.
And I'm sure much more reaction to that throughout the day, in particular on the 10 o'clock show with Simon Jordan. It is 5:19. Sam Stevens back in studio for some back page stuff.
Yeah, hello Sam. Let's start with cricket. Your first love. Is that fair?
Football was my first.
Joint first love?
No, football. If I'm being honest, it was.
So, there we go, folks. 5:19 revelation this morning. talkSPORT's cricket reporter Sam Ellard, first love, football.
But what's the issue with that? Why can't I be
No, it's an absolute disgrace.
Why can't you be Why can't you be...
John Norman would be absolutely ashamed of you right now.
Well, John Norman's first love might have been Fulham.
It probably was until he started becoming talkSPORT's cricket editor.
Yeah, well, also, by the way, as well, I'm not, you have to remember, John Norman is the main talkSPORT cricket reporter. I just, I fill in the bits that he can't or doesn't want to do.
Sloppy seconds.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm not afraid to admit that. No, football was when I was 6, 7. It was football. Then as I got slightly older, I started liking cricket.
Well, let's hope your second favourite sport.
No, it's my second.
Oh my goodness, honestly, this is absolutely shambolic. Now, Harry Brook revealed he ramped up the Lord's aggro by urging England to pick fights with India's players. And the Yorkshire batter, 26, back page of the Sun this morning, carry on sledging. Quite good.
Good headline.
As in carry on sledging.
I get it.
Very good. Harry Brook explained, we had a conversation and said, it's not time to be those nice guys we've been before. Coach Baz McCullum said a few days earlier, we're too nice sometimes. And I brought that up the night before the last day of the, there we go, page 44. Of the match at Lords. I said tomorrow is a perfect opportunity to really get stuck into them. What do you think? Sledging?
Good. I love
sledging all round?
I love sledging. I think sledging is great. I think we've got 2 really good teams playing in this series on the field, which is brilliant. We got good cricket. I think when there's a little bit of needle, a little bit of edge, a little bit of chat out there, I think it adds to the occasion, adds to the spectacle, adds to the drama. And one of the reasons why that third Test match was so good is because there was some needle. Brilliant. And I like this, by the way, because they went after us.
Yeah,
they gave the Indian boys in that last day. There's one over England's batter had to get out of day 3, and they gave it to Crawley and Duckett. They got right up in their faces. And I'm not against that, by the way, but I like the fact that England were like, you know what, let's stick together.
Yeah.
And there was a few send-offs on the final day. They got in their faces. Good.
Do you think this rivalry is becoming sort of a bit deeper now than just it's England against India? Do you think it's sort of, become... It's obviously never going to be quite the Ashes, but
yeah,
is it sort of second tier now, do you think, or not quite?
Yeah, it's all the second series, the best.
So, is it like a just below Australia in terms of rivalry?
So it's definitely not Australia, but it's also like way above anything else. So it's clearly number 2. There's kind of the big 3 in cricket: England, India, Australia. The Ashes for England is always number 1. This series, though, do you know what the thing is, right? With the Ashes, when we go to Australia, it's never really kind of, it's quite one-sided, isn't it? It's normally Australia.
Yeah,
and same when we go to India, when both sides come here, it always feels like really evenly matched series. To always have good series. And this series has been really, really thoughtfully contested. And you can even argue the 2 matches India lost, they played pretty well in both of them.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't wait for tomorrow. Looking forward to covering it as talkSPORT's cricket reporter.
Yes,
hopefully, if I still get the gig for tomorrow, Sam, after you've called me out.
And John Etheridge, who I believe does have cricket as his favourite sport, says...
You don't know that. You don't know that. You don't know that. You're assuming.
Get in touch, John.
So do you think every cricket report, do you think every journalist that writes for the papers, their first love was cricket? It's not a guarantee, is it?
No, it's not guaranteed. No. We'll move on from that. John Etheridge in the Sun says the comparisons, as you just said there, with the 2005 Ashes become sharper with every exciting finish, brilliant performance and on-field conflict. This summer's series between England and India might not yet match what happened 2 decades ago, but it is worthy of discussion in the same sentence. Do you remember that 05 series?
Yeah,
it was sensational.
I have to say, by the way, because that is known in this country in terms of for being the GOAT series.
Yeah.
Nothing comes close to it. And I've seen a few people say, hey, we're not just there yet. But the fact that it's even been named in the same conversation this summer, 2005, sort of shows how exciting this series has been. So if we can get a couple of close finishes and it goes 2-2 to the Oval, plenty of chat, Sam, then hey, it might not. I don't think anything's ever going to top the 05 Ashes series, but perhaps we can slot this one in second place.
Yeah, very much so. And don't get me wrong, I know how much you love cricket. Sam.
No, I know. I'm only one. I can just say one thing on the cricket. Liam Dawson's going to play instead of Shoaib Bashir. Unlucky for Shoaib Bashir, but Liam Dawson, 35, last played Test cricket 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Really good bowler, doing really well for Hampshire, taking lots of wickets and good bat as well. So really happy he's got a call up as deserved.
So pleased to see him. Really
happy he's playing tomorrow.
Lovely stuff. Now let's talk about Nicholas Jackson. He's been all over the back pages over the last few days, hasn't he? And we've talked about whether or not he might be on the move from Chelsea this summer. It looks like there's a possibility they would sell for the right price, but the right price, it seems.
I'm sure they would.
And who wouldn't sell at this price? £80 million. Now, if anyone pays that, if anyone is, in my opinion, silly enough to pay that for Nicholas Jackson, who's a good player, but he's not an £80 million player, in my view, then I think you'd be driving him to the airport yourself, wouldn't he? Or driving him to the training ground yourself, because that is remarkable.
I think you drive him to the country yourself, wherever the place is going. I mean, listen, look, in 2025 and over the last few years, there are some, you see some crazy transfer fees, don't you, that you can't quite get your head around. But I think this would maybe take the biscuit. I mean, look, as you said, decent striker. It was a kind of started off last season well, where it looked like he was maturing in front of goal. But I mean, £80 million is genuinely crazy, and I think there's a good chance he might not be there next season because they've signed Delap and they've signed João Pedro and they've got lots of attacking options. But I mean, I don't think any team in world football is going to come anywhere near close to £80 million.
Did you know how bad, or do you know how bad Nicholas Jackson's disciplinary record is?
I know it's bad. I haven't got the numbers to back it up.
It is really poor.
Yeah.
He's had 18 yellow cards in the time that he's been at Chelsea and 2 reds.
Right.
Including, obviously, the Flamengo one at the Club World Cup last month. And that's absolutely crazy for a striker in the modern day to get that many yellow cards, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you can't rely on somebody who's going to be on the field every week, then that's a problem, isn't it?
No, 100%. And I seem to remember as well, there was an incident away at Newcastle when they were going for the top 4, and he... I'm fairly certain Sam left an elbow in on one of the Newcastle players, and it ended up not costing them because they ended up getting top 5. But he's quite rash, isn't he? He's quite erratic. Look, I think there's definitely a good player in there. I think there's potential in there. But, the club has been linked with Man United, right? And, we Man United have kind of gone for the kind of younger strikers in Holland and Yorkshire. You just look a little bit raw and rough around the edges. And I know Jackson's been in the Premier League for the last couple of seasons, but I still think he's raw. I just think, sort of striker where he needs 4 or 5 chances to score one. And, for that, if you're going to pay £80 million for a centre forward, I think you want someone that's going to guarantee you 25, 30 goals, and that's not Jackson. At this stage of his career, that's not Jackson just yet.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. We'll touch on Bryan Mbeumo. I mean, we'll do much more about him, his move to United in the next part of the programme here. talkSPORT's views on his move. 71 million, it's confirmed. I won't touch just yet on the fee, Sam, because we'll get to that, whether that's overpaying from United's point of view in the next part of the programme. But he looks like, I know that you can't judge very much, can you, from how someone looks in the kit, but he looks like he's well set for that role, doesn't he, Mbeumo, taking the step. I will say step up because although United finished 15th last season,
the size of the club. I've said a few times, I think he's a really good player. I think he had a great season last year. His numbers, his end product was on a different level. In his mid-20s, so at a good age. I think it's a really good signing. Premier League proven, Premier League quality. I think he'll fit in well on that right-hand side of the front three. I think it's a good signing. I think Cunha and Mbeumo have both been good starts to the window for United.
Do you think United will and should still sign a striker?
Yeah, 100%. Holland and Jerks, both aren't good enough.
Yeah, you think so?
100%.
Very good. And so plenty of other stuff in the papers as well. There's lots about Ekitike, which we know that deals with.
A big transfer story on the back of the Mail as well. I mentioned at the top of the show, but Man United have approached Aston Villa for Emi Martinez in a bid to solve their goalkeeper conundrum, which is interesting. It says here, Villa valued their vice captain at around £40 million, which he's got a new contract till 2029, by the way. So that's a 4-year contract. People at Villa will tell you he's the best, maybe a little bit tongue-in-cheek, or maybe not, the best goalkeeper in the world. So we always know with Villa there's PSR problems. They're not problems, but they have to be a bit wary of it. So, if they can get £40 million for a player. But I don't know, I would have thought, you're talking there about £80 million to Jackson. I appreciate he's younger than Martinez, not goalkeeper, but I'd have thought £40 million for Martinez I thought maybe Villa might have wanted more.
Yeah, if United can afford that in terms of their current PSR restrictions, they probably need to sell a couple of players to do so. But it seems like a move that would make a lot of sense. I mean,
would you be happy with him as United fan?
It's a massive upgrade on Onana at the moment in terms of Premier League reliability, consistency, quality.
Most keepers would they, wouldn't they? Really,
I think so. I think the problem with that story is that it said, as you were reading it, Villa aren't interested in selling. I mean, obviously they're not interested. I know there might be a £40 million price tag on there, but there's no guarantee that they would accept a bid from United. If they could put a big enough offer in, as we saw there with Nicholas Jackson, then maybe they might be tempted. But I don't know at this stage if Villa don't absolutely have to sell, why they would part with their goalkeeper. No idea.
No, for sure. Sam, thank you. Good stuff. It is coming up to 5:30 on the early breakfast on talkSPORT. In the next half an hour of the show, bringing you some more transfer news and rumours and hear from some of our key pundits yesterday on the show, and also as well hear from inside the Lions camp. They got another game this morning, in fact, 11 o'clock UK time on talkSPORT 2, all ahead of that second test on Saturday against Australia, which is live on talkSPORT. It is the early breakfast building up the talkSPORT breakfast at 6 with Jamie O'Hara and Neil Warnock.
Corinthian Casuals are a team in the Combined Counties League Premier Division South. Despite that, they're one of the most important clubs in world football. Here's why. The club was formed in 1939 as the result of a merger between Corinthians FC and Casuals FC. Now, Corinthians FC were founded in the late 1800s when the FA's top brass were absolutely sick of getting pumped by Scotland every time they played them. As a result, Nicholas Lane Jackson set up an amateur side which would bring in the best players who could all play for the national side. And it worked. It wasn't long before England were dominating the international fixtures they played, and it was largely down to Corinthians. In fact, in 1894 and 1895 they played consecutive games where Corinthians provided the entire England 11. But the thing is, the players refused to play professional football. They didn't believe in it. They wanted to spread the values of sportsmanship, competition, and played for the love of the game. It also helped most of the players were Oxbridge graduates who didn't need the money, but instead of entering league and cup competitions, they played exhibition football and toured the world, bringing the beautiful game with them. Think of it like the Harlem Globetrotters of football, and it was this which spread the game throughout the world and made it so popular. Most famously, in 1910, they travelled to Brazil, and the locals in Sao Paulo were so impressed they started their own team under the same name. Yes, the same Corinthians who won the FIFA Club World Cup in 2021, one of the biggest clubs in Brazil.
Oh, very good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday, 22nd of July, 5:33. Hope you're having a wonderful morning wherever you are and a wonderful day ahead. It is the early breakfast with our very good friends Adrian Flux, the cover you need at a price you'll love with What Vans Insure of the year 2021. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Don't forget you can watch this show and all talkSPORT shows on your smart TV. It's also streaming live on YouTube. It's Sam Ellard taking you through until 6 when Jamie O'Hara and the legendary manager Neil Warnock take over with breakfast. Some more sporting headlines. Venus Williams has marked her return to tournament level tennis after 16 months away with victory at the Washington Open. She teamed up with Hayley Baptiste in the women's doubles and then made it through their first round tie. Rangers will take on Czech side Victoria Pilsen, or Swiss team Servette if they make it past the second round of Champions League qualifying. Russell Martin will oversee his first competitive game as manager when they go up against the Greek club Panathinaikos at Ibrox tomorrow. And by the way, how about this? Gerwyn Price is through to the last 16 in the World Match Play darts, beating Daryl Gurney 10-7 at the Winter Gardens in Blackpool. Things got a little heated on and off stage between the pair at the end. If you haven't seen it, go and find it on Twitter. Gerwyn Price winning 10-7, and there was a little bit of aggro on stage after. There has been in the past a bit of aggro between these two players, but in needle, if you like. I think Gurney was mocking one of Gerwyn Price's celebrations at one point, and yeah, Gerwyn Price wasn't particularly happy and let him know after the game. So always fun when there's needle on the stage in the world of darts. Elsewhere, MVG beat Barney 10-6. Chris Derby also got through, and Josh Rock, many people were tipping to win this tournament, certainly go deep, beat Ross Smith 10-5. The second round gets underway this evening. Former champions James Wade and Gary Anderson take on Vessel Nyman and Stephen Bunting respectively. Jan van Veen played his World Cup partner Danny Noppert, while Johnny Ferret takes on World Grand Prix champion Mike De Decker. Live commentary for you on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. Let's now get some more reaction. Some of the biggest news in the world of transfers from talkSPORT yesterday. Bryan Mbeumo has moved to Man United for an initial £65 million, rising to £71 million with add-ons, was confirmed last night following 6 successful years at Brentford. He's taken the same number 19 shirt that he wore in West London. Man United fan and talkSPORT broadcaster Flex is delighted to get Mbeumo over the line.
It has taken the shine off of how long it took for him to become a Manchester United player. And I was always saying in the round of negotiations that this will only be a masterstroke for Man United waiting this long if they don't end up paying what Brentford want. And in the end, we did. But that shouldn't take the shine away from what a good player he is. Like Jason Wilcott says in that statement, for the last few seasons, he's been one of the best attackers in the league, especially last season. I think Manchester United need to get back to basics and fundamentals of not doing the we're Man United, why are we going to sign a player from Brentford or from Wolves? No, that is exactly what Manchester United need to be doing. They need to be going around the league and trying to get the better players from the league where there's no settling in period. You don't have to explain to him how it works here. You don't have to wait for him to get his feet under the table and be comfortable. He understands the vigour of the Premier League, the physicality. He understands the demands of the Premier League, and he can go straight in, and he brings goals. And Manchester United scored 44.
Yeah. And interestingly, though, that was Flex, fellow talkSPORT broadcaster and Arsenal fan Harry Symeou. He thinks United have overpaid.
Let me be clear. I really like Brian Mbeumo. I think he's a good player. I think he deserved the move. I think he deserves to go to a bigger club. I think he deserves to have his time in the limelight, right? But Man United have had their pants pulled down here, right? There's no doubt about that. And if you compare it, for example, to the Victor Gyökeres deal that we're hearing so much about, you're talking about Victor Gyökeres, the top scoring striker across Europe over the course of last season, going for less than Brian Mbeumo. My problem with this, Anil, is nothing to do with the player. I think he's a good player, but there comes a point where, as a football club, you've got to be disciplined, and you've got to hit the stop button when things like this are getting out of control. Man United are in this exact position, the position that they're in today, where they're struggling, where they've fallen way behind because they have overspent on players that could not live up to the expectation. And I'm not saying Mbeumo is going to be a flop, but I don't think that this kind of price point is justified for him. And I think if I was a Man United fan, I'd be a little bit worried that my club are doing the same old thing again.
Yes, I don't disagree with Harry's points about United's failures in the transfer markets over the last many years. That's pretty clear. But I don't think they've had their pants pulled down when it comes to Mbeumo. I think for a player with 20 goals last season and consistently being good in the Premier League, around £65 million, given his age, seems pretty fair. So I disagree with that, but I take his broader point about United's business recently in the window. So now really with Cunha in and Bremer in, lots will be about players leaving the football club. Marcus Rashford on his way to Barcelona. There's the bomb squad casts a shadow as Amram axes them for US. Torres, a piece by Chris Wheeler in the Mail. Amram knows what he wants. A United leadership team should commend him for that, but leaving them at home may be better for morale, but it could also cost United a fortune by making it abundantly clear they are surplus to requirements. The club has severely compromised their bargaining position on a group of players who were valued at close to £350 million at their peak. That's Chris Wheeler in the Mail today. Let's hear from Carlton Cole in the sports bar last night, speaking about Rashford.
Look, Man United have never been, for the last 10 years, they've not been run properly.
No.
So he's a type of player, being young, coming through, and he's probably seen it, and he's probably taken some liberties as well. And he probably just needs a fresh start because it's just got toxic. And he wants to go, and people are seeing past probably the man, because everyone knows that Man United wasn't run properly. So they're looking, well, if we take him out of there, and then we've seen him when he's come out of there, he's gone and done well at Villa, maybe he's still got a little bit to give us when he comes over to a new country, new start, and he's more fresh, revived. Not saying that he was really good or world class at one stage, but he can actually, maybe if he can get to that level, close to that level, then he'll be an asset for Barcelona.
And for all the latest transfer news, visit talksport.com. Now though, it's competition time.
10k for Coldplay.
Coldplay are back at Wembley this summer, and we've got huge VIP prize up for grabs for one lucky listener. We're giving you the chance to win 6 tickets in a private box for you and your mates on August the 22nd with full hospitality, plus we're chucking in 10 grand spending money completely tax-free. Here's how to enter: 18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland, for a chance to win. Text the word WIN to 83338 by the 4th of August at 11 p.m. and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission, or post your name and number to Coldplay Competition, PO Box 3190, Colchester CO2 8GP, to arrive by 5 p.m. on the 7th of August. This is the talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Now, though, it's time for some front page stories.
It's a front page throwdown.
Oh, what a move!
The front page is first on the early sports breakfast.
talkSPORT.
5:40, Sam Stevens has newspapers in hand and is ready to make the nation laugh.
Big news this morning.
Good. I like this already.
Davids and Joannes are the UK's unluckiest Brits, having the most slips, trips, falls and road mishaps. Dizzy Davids are 20% more likely to claim for personal injury, making them the most accident-prone males, like trouble hit David Brent in Telly's The Office. And Calamity Joannes top the accident charts of women, according to data from injury lawyers. Their odds of lodging a claim stands at around 5%, significantly above the national average for females. Do you think you're unlucky?
Can I say one thing? I do not want to poo-poo anything you read, because I sometimes do your job on the breakfast show.
Yeah.
I'm all for polls, I'm all for surveys and whatnot, but I'm sorry. How has anyone managed to work out, with all the people, all the names we have in this country, that David and Joanne's are the most unlucky? I mean, come on, Samuel Stevens.
Well, it says here, next time you slip, trip or burn your dinner, you might just blame it on your name. There you go. You see, it could be that there's more to it than just, what your parents decide.
Are you a clumsy person? You
I think if I eat dinner, the chances are half of it will end up down me.
That surprises me.
Does it?
Yeah.
It's a left-handed thing. I think you're lefty. I'm surprised you're
I am a lefty. Yeah, but look at my wrist. Look at the state of my writing.
That's true. Do you do that stuff or not really?
Yeah, I'm pretty clumsy, pretty messy. I'm not I think I'm quite when I'm out and about and I'm walking in the street and stuff, I'm quite kind of socially aware, and I'm not if I'm, I let people go off the tube before I get on. I don't, I let someone pass by if there's a tight alleyway or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm quite socially aware. But yeah, when it comes to in the flat, I'm quite messy, quite all over the gaff. Yeah.
Any Daves listening? If you feel like you're particularly clumsy, or Joanne's. Yeah, just a very good point. Any Joanne's? I don't want to I feel like it's harsher on the women than it is on the men.
No,
call them out.
No, don't let Joanne's get away with this.
All right, Joanne's. If you're listening, Joanne's or Dave's, and you know you're particularly clumsy, 81089. Probably don't call us.
Oh no, come on.
Taking your call. Go on.
What a way to finish off the show.
All right, fine.
Let's hear from David and Joanne's. Are you actually the most unluckiest people in the world?
Give us a ring. Now, Gen Z are making cups of tea in the microwave.
What?
Because they're too idle to put the kettle on. Almost 2/3 of under 30s admitted to making a brew using the bizarre method. The worst culprits for ditching the kettle were Southerners, with 28% from London and the South East using the microwave. Folk from the East Midlands were least likely to microwave a brew, the poll by price comparison service, I'm not going to read the name. Boffin Tim Bond from the Tea Advisory Panel. Tim Bond. He can't be called Tim Bond if he's from tea, can he? Warned that blasting your brew with microwaves will backfire.
So they put cold water in the mug and then put it in the microwave to heat it up instead of using the kettle. I'm assuming that's what you mean.
That's correct.
You've got to be joking.
It says here, heating a mug of water in the microwave takes 2 minutes 40 seconds.
You have got to be joking.
Significantly longer than the 48 seconds required to boil the same volume in a kettle.
I am a Gen Z, and I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, you should be ashamed of yourself, Gen Z, for this. This is a disgrace.
Why would you not just boil the kettle?
No, I agree. I don't understand how it's any different. It's just pouring the,
If anything, this is longer.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't take, my kettle doesn't take 2.5 minutes to get hot. I have to say, Sam, if Adam Brazil was here, he'd say, get a life, you're a joke. And I agree with him. That's crazy.
That is crazy, isn't it? Now, how do you feel about Wetherspoons? You a fan?
I haven't been for a while, but yeah, when I've been in there, it's nice. There's always a good atmosphere in there. You can get a pint, you can get some food. Yeah, it's all right.
The odd breakfast, perhaps?
Well, of course you can. What have you got for us here?
Wetherspoon bosses have declared war on annoying customers who listen to music or TV shows without headphones. The pub chain doesn't have music or TV screens, so drinkers can enjoy a chat and to keep down costs. A poster campaign warns, please respect others when using phones or other personal devices. Kindly turn the sound off or use headphones. Now, we're still radio, so many people of you who aren't watching the show this morning will not have seen Sam vociferously, probably not vociferously, demonstratively celebrating
I'm so happy you brought this up. One of my pet hates are when you go out on any form, let's say it's in public transport or in a restaurant, and there are people that are having conversations on loudspeaker on their phone, that are playing music on their phone. I was in a cafe, my local cafe, that I love very, very much, on a Saturday morning recently. I'm old school. I was reading the newspaper. There was a guy next to me having a conversation on loudspeaker.
Oh, the worst.
How stupid must you be to... How annoying must you be to do
ignorance,
that?
Sam, is what that is. Ignorance.
It's just rude, isn't it?
It is.
I'm so happy you mentioned that, by the way. Amelia Beltrao has just messaged me saying, you're not Gen Z. 1997 is the first year.
Well,
so I've missed out on Gen Z by 6 months.
6 months?
I was born June 1996.
I would suggest...
So I'm not Gen Z. So I've been lying to everybody for the last... I don't know.
Does that make you millennial then? Are you
I
one
feel
of
like
us?
I don't know. For the sake of 6 months, can I be? I want to be more Gen Z than millennial.
Is Amelia Gen Z?
Well, I wouldn't like to speculate on her age, obviously, but I think she's younger than me by a couple of years.
I'd be amazed if she's ever made a cup of tea from a microwave.
Oh, well, according to that, is it 2/3?
Absolutely terrible.
I think the Beltrao is do it properly. If anything, do you know what I think the Beltrao is, Sam?
Go on.
Here's one for you. I bet she's neither. Do you know what she is?
Coffee.
No, she's got a hot tap. Well, you know those hot taps.
Oh, you reckon she's got a hot tap?
Definitely. The Beltraos have hot taps in their house, don't they?
I couldn't possibly comment. Now, after we finish with this is a nice but sort of slightly sad story.
Oh, you did this yesterday.
No, this is an important story. This is a very important story. I think you'll appreciate it. The shirt worn by Peter Shilton when he tried to defend Maradona's infamous Hand of God goal is set to go under the hammer.
Wow.
The top, as seen in the controversial England v Argentina 1986 World Cup quarter-final, is valued at £200,000 to £300,000.
I thought you were saying more than that.
Really?
I thought you were going to say that game.
Yeah, I mean,
everything is some of the most
iconic as it gets, isn't it?
It's just so. Yeah, I mean that is. I reckon that goes for more than that, Sam.
Lots also include Pele's 1958 World Cup winners medal.
Crikey.
Blimey, right, this is a decent lot.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Isn't it? Valued as £500,000, as well as the medals and shirts left bottom pictured from the 1966 World Cup final from late greats Gordon Banks, Alan Ball and Martin Peters.
I have to say, by the way, that's some auction, isn't it? Right? You're not very. There we go. Good work, Zach. That's an absolute belter, by the way. That's a couple of decent prizes.
That's amazing, right? Isn't it? That is amazing.
From Kate and Bolton, my lovely other half Dave is Mr. Cumsey. They're poll proof, Sam. There we go. So,
there you go.
Sorry.
Thanks very much, Kate.
Hi, my name is Dave, and I've been described as an accident looking for somewhere to happen.
Oh well, that's very nice,
that.
Isn't it?
And 2 people, by the way, have just sent in messages saying, Sam, you are a millennial. Craig in Windsor. And another one, Sam, you are a millennial.
Sam,
so perhaps the Beltrao was talking absolute nonsense.
Of all the things that I didn't think we'd learn this morning is that actually you're not Gen Z. You are in fact a millennial, and you just have to like it, I'm afraid.
No, the thing that I learned the most is that Kate and Dave's Joanne and Dave's, wasn't it?
Joanne's and Dave's, yeah.
Sorry, it was Kate that sent their message in.
Yeah.
There we go. 8:89 on the text. Sam, thank you.
Yes.
I've loved it.
What a pleasure.
5:47. Coming up next, we'll hear from inside the Lions camp. Back in action this morning at 11 o'clock. Very good morning. It is 5:50 Tuesday, 22nd of July. It's the Early Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT with me, Sam Ellard, Jamie O'Hara and Neil Warnock on the way with the breakfast show at 6. Now, I'm sure you know this by now. If you don't, where on earth have you been? But we are the home of the Lionesses and the Lions this summer. Truly, the pride of live sport. England v Italy, Euro 2025 semi-final for you on talkSPORT in the semi-final tonight, 8 o'clock start. And what about the Lions? Well, they went 1-0 up in their series with Australia on Saturday. But before they can tackle the Wallabies again, they face another warm-up game. This one is against the First Nations of Pacifica 15. And of course, this morning is live for you on talkSPORT 2.
Here we go, test match series up and running. The Lions kick off.
What Lions tours are about, you muck in, you get on with it.
To it, gliding to the right-hand side.
There's boys that are going to be involved tomorrow night that are going to play on Saturday, and it's just sort of the nature of the beast.
Pollock's got it back and he's barreling his way forward. Up and over the 22. Keeps going. 5 metres out. Can he get the offload away? Yes, he can.
It's a brilliant indication of just how good a talent Henry Pollock is.
I want to come on this tour and just be a sponge, absorb as much as possible, and I think I've done that. There's world-class players there, and if you're not learning, then you're in the wrong place.
Owen Farrell steps back, strikes it right-footed. The Lions fans like it. Owen Farrell likes it.
Bloke's rugby royalty. Like he goes down as one of the best ever, and this confirms that.
Lead the boys out tomorrow will be great. I want us to be the best we can possibly be.
Pangram also with Gordon on his back. Has BPA done it? Yes, he has.
Special occasion. We get to really show who we are, playing for family.
They know it's there. They know that there's an opportunity with the prize potentially of being involved in the second or third test.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Feels a long time ago now that the Lions kicked off this whole kind of tour, this whole kind of series with that defeat to Argentina. Since then, it's been perfect. And of course, on Saturday just gone, it was a 29-17 victory to start the series against Australia with a victory. As for today, head coach Andy Farrell was named son Owen as captain for the game, and Farrell Jr. explained the importance of today's game when speaking to talkSPORT's Alfie Reynolds.
Firstly, it's important because it's our next match, obviously, and for us as a team to keep our momentum going. We've been great so far in all the other games, and then obviously the test match was massive at the weekend, and we want to kick on. We want to keep enjoying what we're doing, and there's a massive opportunity to do that tomorrow. I think it was 12 years ago we played the Rebels at this point, and that was one of the games I enjoyed the most on that tour. Obviously, I didn't play in all the tests. I was involved, but I didn't get on in the first 2 tests. But I remember really enjoying that Rebels game. We played some great rugby, and we moved the ball really well, and we loved it. And there's a chance to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, good to see him playing today, and he's taking a bit of stick, hasn't he? Probably a little bit of unfair stick over the last few weeks, but I hope he goes well today. And some bits in the paper today about maybe him playing for England again, but getting back in the England team. Last play for England at the World Cup a couple of years ago, so good luck to Owen Farrell this evening over there, this morning here. What of the Lions' opponents? The Pacifica squad is made up of players with Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islands or Pacific Islands heritage. First Nations and Pacifica's Brandon Penga-Amosa told talkSPORT's Andrew McKenna the family pride is at stake this morning.
For us, it's a special occasion. We get to really show who we are. Obviously, a lot of us are playing for more than just another jersey, like another test jersey, essentially. Playing for family. So there's quite a bit of emotion that's going into it. Obviously, we don't want to buy into too much of it, but I think emotion can be a good thing. So it is hard coming together. Obviously different Super Rugby clubs. We've got a couple of draw boys as well, which has been amazing. But a lot of it's been learning from each other and learning, what are their strengths, what are my strengths? Okay, put it together, what does that make? And it makes a good rugby team. So that's essentially what we want to be tomorrow night.
You spoke about the jersey. Is that one of those jerseys that you won't want to swap at the end of the night? It's a very special occasion. It could be a one-off. They want to try and make it a more regular thing, but is this a jersey that you want to hold on to?
I would love to hold on to this jersey. Hopefully I get 2 so I get to trade 1.
11 o'clock this morning, the Lions are back in action. Victory against Australia on the weekend. Can they win today and then set it up just perfectly for the second test match on Saturday? The second test match on Saturday is live on talkSPORT. The game today is live on talkSPORT 2. It is at 11 o'clock this morning. Let me just remind you of some of the back page headlines in today's newspapers for you. United in for Martinez is the back of the Mail. Villa star targeted to solve Amorim's keeper crisis. Back of the Guardian, she's ready to perform. Wiegman backs Carter for Italy semi-final after racism ordeal. Ready to roll. Wiegman confirms Lionesses captain. Williamson fit for the semi-final clash with Italy this evening. England-Italy for a place in the European Championship final is an 8 o'clock start. History is within their grasp. Back at the Times, Lionesses can be first England football team to reach 3 major finals in a row. Back at the Sun, 80 million for Devils to nick him. Nicholas Jackson is open to joining Manchester United, but the Sun say that the fee that Chelsea would want is in and around £18 million. And also back at the Sun, aims high. Brian Mbeumo claimed he signed for Manchester United because he will win trophies at Old Trafford. Brian Mbeumo is officially a Manchester United player. So much though to look forward to this morning on The Breakfast Show. It is Neil Warnock alongside Jamie O'Hara. How great is it to have the legendary Premier League manager Neil Warnock in the hot seat with Jamie for 4 hours this morning. Of course, loads of build-up to the Lions game. Today, Alfie Reynolds and former Lion Ben Kay looking ahead to that game. Former Leeds Rangers, Villa, Cardiff forward Ross McCormack to discuss Rangers Champions League hopes, and former Lionesses Nikita Parrish will look ahead to tonight's semi-final against Italy, which is live on talkSPORT. And perhaps we'll get Jamie O'Hara's reaction to this claim from Sports Bar presenter Max Scott, who claimed the former Spurs and Wolves midfielder would have been worth a few quid in today's transfer market.
How much do you think O'Hara's worth in today's current market?
Today's current market with inflation. Look, one thing I will say, when I was younger, me and my dad, we're massive lifelong Forest season ticket holders, and watching the football at the time was absolutely mingra. It was horrible. But we would watch the Premier League just to watch decent football, and me and my dad always rated Jamie O'Hara as a player. And obviously we didn't watch him week in and week out, but I think he was a good player with a lot of potential, who I think under the right management...
There's a lot of waffling going on. How much is he worth right now, mate?
Today's market, I'll go 30 mil.
30 mil?
Today's market.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's bang out of order. 30 mil, I don't even think that gets you a player in the Premier League.
No, you didn't say I was signing for a Premier League.
Oh, yeah, it's Championship then, yeah?
Man, that's bang out of order. Bang out of order to O'Hara. Absolute baller in his prime at Tottenham, playing alongside Luka Modric. Double that, £60 million, no doubt about it. Put some respect on the O'Hara name. You've been listening to The Early Breakfast with Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Early Sports Breakfast back tomorrow with Shaban at 5. But coming up next, it is talkSPORT Breakfast. Jamie O'Hara and the legendary Premier League manager Neil Warnock. That's next on talkSPORT.